In this video, I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT to interview for a job or basically prep for one. And what you can do is you can use a custom GPT like this one that I have. There will be a link below. And what you're basically going to want to do is just talk to it and say, help me prepare for a job interview. I have a data scientist interview at Apple that's coming up, and I want you to give me questions. And then I want you to tell me how I did on those questions. So this is already set to kind of do this, but if you don't have access to GPT-4, if you just have access to 3.5, the free one, you can kind of give it this prompt, and then the large language model will begin to then think about ways that it knows like what an interview is and what that position might entail and like what sort of questions it might ask. And what it'll do is it'll give you a question, right? So it's giving you this question and it's saying like, can you tell me about a time when you analyzed a large data set and found a key insight that led to a significant decision or change in strategy? And one of the things to keep in mind here is that you can talk, or you can type, and then you can also read, but you can also listen. There's this little button right here where if you turn that on, you can actually get response in multiple different languages to you, where you could really get an output of, you know, somebody speaking, right? So you can get that in different ways, right? So if you turn this on, you can actually hear this. And
Great.
I think you can
Let's
hear
begin
right
the
now,
mock interview for the data scientist position at Apple. I will ask you a series of questions.
Cool. So if you just heard that, that was a little bit of the audio coming through where it was speaking in a female voice, and this just gives you a sort of auditory way to interact with it, because you can always tap into this speech to text, and then you can speak back. So like what I could do is I could say, yeah, there was this one time that I worked with this really large data set of e-commerce data, and in it what we wanted to do is find what the seasonality of certain products was. We found that actually after the fourth quarter, after Christmas, moving into January of every year, we isolated that almost all of our products spiked for about 2 weeks. So we always had to adjust our inventory levels to be higher so that we could prepare for that sales period. And so that'll be like my answer, and I'm just kind of making up this stuff. And so what it's going to do is it's going to give you this response. It's going to say, cool, here's the feedback. And then this is what this one is tuned to do. It's saying, it's saying, here's the feedback. Here's the strength of your response. It was relevant and insightful. And then, the areas of improvement, right? You could have provided more detail for your technical capabilities. And then, you could have communicated this, you could have explained how you communicated this to non-technical stakeholders. So really it was looking for maybe a more robust answer. And then it's moving on to give you another question, right? And it'll just kind of roll with this steadily as you move through, right? So pretty much just show up to this GPT or just go to any of the other ones. And if you give it as detailed a prompt as what I showed right here, you would want to add a couple things to this. You would want to say, make sure you ask me questions one by one, make sure you grade my responses, and ask me questions until I'm done. And what you'll get here is just an infinite stream of questions and then feedback as you're working through this. So this should give you all sorts of practice interview questions, and if you're doing a coding interview, it's even better because it would be able to evaluate your code and then give you responses for that. So you can do either types of interviews. You can do interviews for an HR position, or you can interviews for a Python developer. It doesn't really matter. You can do all of it here. And just to make this video really short, that's it. If you liked this video, if it was helpful to you, please smash that like button, and I'll talk to you later.